Gamelfus Mountain Center. This dude's walking across a bridge over molten lava. He's got fireproof boots on, but he can still feel the heat through the soles. Sucks for the guys who don't have boots like these. They can only dream about this, but he's gonna do it. Ranked 31st in the official Korean rankings. The Fire Dragon Knight, Agni. And get this, the secret Gamelfus Mountain dungeon is located here. It holds a legendary item only obtainable from the flame dragon, the fire dragon's heart. All of Agni's skills are fire-based, so a better item doesn't exist. It's perfect for him. The guy spots a red door. This is it. The secret dungeon where the legendary flame dragon slumbers. Agni was sweating bullets finally, the dragon's asleep. Up on the bridge, a dude was crashed out taking a nap. Sword laying next to him, the kid just rolled over. He's chillin' here while I, Agni, in full fireproof gear can barely stand. No idea what this idiot's thinking. This is messed up. Agni, gotta chill and analyze this first. Look closer. This guy's gloves and all his gear, head to toe, are legendary level. He's totally defenseless. Agni could take him with a flick, but gotta think smart. Even I barely made it here with a secret map. If this guy's sleeping here, the stakes are high. He's gotta have crazy fire resistance. That's a major problem for me. This dude's out cold, snoring like a chainsaw. If Agni strikes first, he can lower his fire resistance. He should know who got here. He remembers every ranker, and there's no one like this guy. So this dude's an unofficial ranker. Agni raises his sword. Still, gotta stay sharp. He's using the fire dragon summon. Agni's satisfied. That guy's done for. The sleeping dude is still just lying on the ground. He dodged it, so he wasn't really asleep. The ranker woke up. His sleeping bag went right into his inventory. Sleepwalking skill activated. No freaking way, he's actually asleep. This sleeping dude just lunged at Agni. He barely got his sword up. How the hell does a ranker have reactions that fast? He's gonna get hit from behind or from above. Agni, brace yourself. Ranker intuition's telling him he can't let this attack land. He pulled out his fire dragon scale shield. Out of all his gear, this thing's got the toughest defense. A chain's coming at him. Agni's sweating, and then bam, something crazy happens. This is an attack you can't block and you can't dodge. Agni just coughed up blood. That dude landed a crit, giving him weakness for a second. He glanced at the guy coming at him, still with his eyes shut. Fatal blow landed. Agni's hit with nightmare. For the next 5 seconds, he'll be in agony, seeing things. He saw death standing before him with a freaking huge scythe. Agni screamed, then died. Game session forcibly terminated. As punishment, access is restricted for the next 24 real-world hours. Agni couldn't believe he lost to some nobody in the rankings. He vanished, leaving only his sword and a pouch of gold behind. The sleeping guy just stood there over the loot. Then he crashed back out, pulling the blanket over himself. A few hours later, the dude was still lying there. Then he woke up. He had no clue how long he'd been out this time and stretched. He saw the sword and a sack of gold and realized his sleepwalking skill had triggered. Too bad for that poor sap. His skill deactivated because he attacked first. With these items, the ranker's life will be easier. Every time he falls asleep, he gets awesome stuff. This is one hell of a specialization, and the guy's name is Hank Sons. If he catches a fire dragon, his level will shoot up. He wants to be a ranker. His specialization is Thanatos Descendant, a god-tier level. The deputy leader acted like he had no idea what time it was. Sis's caretaker showed up late today. If the caretaker quits, he's gonna quit too, which sucks. Here we go again, and it's not even 9 a.m. yet, poor Hank Sons. Something's up with manager Paul. Hank's a good worker, nice guy, but that's the problem. The manager graduated from some fancy college, but he can't catch a break. Hank just finished high school, but he got hired at a big company because he's a solid worker. He's been at this company for 5 years. If he loses his job, it'll be tough with his education. Plus, he started acting like a jerk when Hank asked for a day off because his sister was sick. I wanted to punch him, but I held back, gotta respond with a smile. This dude is super grateful to the boss, but skip the thanks, just bring the coffee. Considering the cost of honey and his sister's care, it's manageable. Whatever company it is, he needs a steady income. Today was a real grind. Man, he wanted to punch him so bad. That evening, Hank got back home. Finally, he's back. The caregiver can head out, and he's grateful for her work. He's got to let it slide that she's late. She'll be here earlier tomorrow. He and Hanan live together in the apartment he inherited from his parents. She's 20. At that age, she should be partying hard and hanging with her friends. Hank's late again. He's been working overtime like crazy lately. Hannah lost her parents and the ability to walk way too young. She had to grow up fast. She spent the day gaming, reading, and grabbed some grub. Hank ate too. It's late. He needs to change. The guy headed to his room. My sister's got to be struggling right now, even if she doesn't show it. It all went down 6 years ago. If Hank had been with them, he could have gotten messed up too. Their car got blinded by the headlights of an oncoming truck. They slammed right into each other. Their parents in the front seats were killed instantly. Luckily, Hannah pulled through, but she's the one who begged our parents to go out to dinner. Even though her body wasn't hurt, she couldn't move her legs. That was 6 years ago now. Seeing her parents die in front of her like that, it was brutal for 13-year-old Hannah. The doctor had some pretty good news recently. Hannah's getting better. My sister crying every damn day, blaming herself. She couldn't even apologize to my brother. Good thing she can finally laugh now. She told me to quit staring at her like some kind of perv. Then she just smacked Hank right in the face with a pillow. And then she got scared I was gonna smack her back. This game's been a lifesaver. Hannah started playing VR games a year ago. Doctor's orders. She wasn't sold, but the doc said give it a shot. If she hated it, I wouldn't force her. Hated it at first, but she got used to it, started feeling better. The game's called Idea. People call it Other Earth, even though it's totally not. Ever since it launched, tons of players jumped in. Biggest game ever. They were turning in for the night. I don't need to babysit her anymore. Hannah's all grown up, so I agreed. If she needs anything, she'll knock. Even though we both have phones. When I bought Hannah a capsule, I got one for myself too. Cost me a fortune. I haven't splurged on anything else since. These capsules are worth it. Time moves slower in the pod. For every real hour, 5 hours pass in the game. Hank also bought it so he could actually get some sleep, which no one else was doing. Instead of 5 hours, now he can sleep for 20 to 25 hours straight. He wouldn't have survived the overwork without this pod. The creator did him a solid. Hank heard people were making serious cash in these games. The current idea isn't just a game. It's got huge investments poured into it. They say there have been tons of cases of people ditching their regular jobs to go there. Maybe it's the kids who've been playing since the game first launched. Hank was good at games in school, too. They invited him to the pro scene, but his parents were against it. The guy shouldn't be thinking about that dumb stuff, not for the sake of his family. Gotta stop thinking and start playing. Retinal scan initiated. Player identified. Hank confirmed he wants in on this idea. He's diving into virtual reality now. This is the newbie village, where characters spawn before training. Usually nobody's here. All you can do here is move around and get used to the VR. There was only one spot for Hank, right there on the bed. Wish he could sleep this much in real life. He also really wanted to punch his boss in the face. In-game Dreamtime has reached 10,000 hours. Dude's got skills, specializations, the whole 9 yards, plus a bunch of titles. Hank was just stewing about Chef Paul. What a total scumbag that guy is. The kid got a solid night's sleep. 6 hours went by in the real world. He figured he'd grab some breakfast, but he's got no clue where the exit is. Notifications started blowing up his screen. Pop-ups kept raining down, and his specialization just leveled up. Hank's got a god-tier rank, a supreme specialization, and his stats are insane. He started with crap stats, didn't even finish the tutorial. Guess he got all this from the new titles. You can seriously cash in on this game. Gotta chill out and figure out what's going on here, but first things first. Gotta bail. Hank's blown away. This is even crazier than he thought. If a guy's skilled enough, he can make a living in this game, just like a regular job. But right now, this dude's low level, so it's gonna be tough. Getting used to it's one thing, but I wonder how long he can live off his savings. 2 months should do it. That's hitting the jackpot. Hank went to whip up some breakfast. His sister was surprised he was cooking. Hannah doesn't need to use the bathroom yet. Hank joked that she might not hold it, then he'd have to clean it up. All the girl needed was a little help getting into her chair. She wanted to use the bathroom, but she'll handle it herself. Her brother just needs to close the door. I mean, they're twins. It's not like she has anything to be ashamed of. Hank went to cook breakfast. No need for his sister to rush. The girl tried putting one foot on the floor. She did it. She actually managed to stand up. It's easier to do in the game, but if she practices, she can start walking again. The doctor also suggested training her muscles. Hank knocked. He can't come in yet. He told her to call him if she needed any help. Hannah repeated that he better not even think about coming in. She'll tell him about it when she's got her life together. The boss just got a resignation letter. Hank confirmed that it was his. Lion, the deputy, was like, "Why so sudden? A young guy like you shouldn't give up so early. They need a hard worker like him. He put up with so much. If he leaves, everyone else gets more work." Lion's like, "Let's pretend this never happened. Hank, go back and think about your sick sister." The deputy realized he'd just screwed up. That's not what he meant. He's just worried about Hank. The guy thanked him for the past years and hoped he never saw him again. Hank Sons is terrifying when he's angry and totally badass. This dude's acting like he just hit the jackpot. But he didn't win the cash. He won the chance to earn it playing games. Gotta pay up front for the capsules, but you can pay later for the rigs. This whole thing depends on him now, so he's gotta play it smart. Capsules are on the right, computers on the left. Gotta scope this all out. The higher your level, the easier it is to make bank. Right now, the top Korean players are on the 300th floors. He read up on how to level up your character. Hank's starting to think he shouldn't have quit his job. He just realized leveling up is going to be 5 times harder for him. So, bottom line, power comes from high level and keeping your technique clean. You gotta pay up front to even get into a capsule now. He's renting her for 9 hours, 30 grand an hour, which adds up to 270,000 won. Hank settled into his capsule. His eyes scanned and he was in the idea. He still doesn't know what powers he has, so he can't screw around. Still, he's a descendant of Tananos, and he's got no clue about this specialty. It popped up that Tananos is the god of death and sleep, but that doesn't explain the specialty. Based on the description, he's not a god but some kind of psycho, loves causing evil and nothing can stop him. He's a real bastard, but hey, god of death and sleep? Could be worse. Hank popped open the skill list. 6 skills, not bad. Tananos had narcolepsy, which drove his goons nuts because he was always conked out. You can level up in your sleep. Tananos only dreamed good dreams, making his wishes come true. Skills and items bought from the ore store show up instantly. Tananos was the OG sleepwalker. A special AI controlled him while he was out cold. He got off on human suffering during nightmares, plus he could master any weapon. If Tananos puts you to sleep, game over, man. 10-hour cooldown. Hank doesn't have any good skills yet, but he can snag some from the store. The dude activated the narcolepsy skill. He started drifting off into a deep sleep. If he tries to eject from the capsule himself, he'll disconnect from the game. But his character will stay put. For some reason, Hank couldn't move, and there were almost 12 hours left before he could log out. The guy wanted to get a refund, hoping they'd understand. The narcolepsy kicked in right when he checked his skills. Talk about a garbage skill. He just instantly fell asleep. No one could have guessed the name would be so on the nose. At the clinic, Hannah was practicing walking. She's strapped into the machine and the doctor's helping her. Her knees are still a little weak, but at least she's not held back by psychological stuff anymore. If she trains her legs, she'll definitely walk. It's all thanks to Dr. Mina Lice. It's important to have family who believe in you. Hannah wants to show her brother that. So she's training harder. Even as a patient, she's paying all the hospital bills herself. Hannah tried telling her brother she makes money gaming, but he didn't believe her. He doesn't watch TV. This whole thing's become a popular way to make cash. Even sick, Hannah's raking it in. Hank's gonna freak when he finds out. This is gonna be good. Even the doctor wants to see her brother's face when he finds out. She promised to send Mina a picture of it. Her brother's calling. She's wondering why now. Hannah went for a walk with her aunt. Hank's usually not home this early, didn't know. Told my sister to have a good time. They're about to head back home anyway. Hannah's not a kid. Plus her aunt's with her. Bro doesn't need to sweat it. Looks like they gotta run. They'll grab coffee next time. Hannah's gotta hurry. She called her aunt. Said her little bro's home. They should bounce ASAP. The doctor noticed these twins are a handful. Hannah told her brother they went for a walk. Her aunt's gotta play along. She promised. The girl smiled. Since Hank's home, her aunt can clock out early. Hannah saw he was pissed. She works every single day. She deserves a break today. My aunt thanked them, and they said their goodbyes until tomorrow. Hank scooped up his sister and carried her to her room. He knows Hannah was in the hospital, but he wouldn't be mad then. So something else happened. Something bad must have gone down at the company. Hannah asked her brother to talk, and the guy confessed he quit his job. Something was up with him. He was always wiped and constantly working overtime. Now Hank's gonna make money in the game, though maybe he's getting ahead of himself. It's wild he quit his job to earn in the game. He made a killer choice. When Hannah saw him killing himself at work, she wanted to tell him to ditch it all and join IDEA. She's curious what level he is. She offered her help since she's leveled up. Hannah's level 331, raking in the cash and paying for her own treatment. Hank got curious and started pressing her for details about the hospital bills. The girl played dumb, like she didn't know what he was talking about. She just blurted it out, and her brother flicked her forehead. He was worried about her and didn't realize it, but he couldn't even afford anything for himself. That's why Hannah wanted to pay for treatment herself. She's worried about her brother. Even like this. Now Hank's gonna play IDEA too, and his sister will help him out since the beginning's pretty rough. The guy's planning to hit level 1000 in 3 months, and his sister's intrigued. He won't tell her what class he's playing since she won't talk about the medical bills. This ain't gonna be easy. He'll be crawling back to her for help in a month. Hank's positive this narcolepsy thing ain't gonna make him lose. Dude hops in the pod, ready to dive into the mindscape. Eye scan commencing. Same view as last year, time to ditch this town. He slept for 58.5 hours. Skill level went up. Leveled up while sleeping. The skill description said so. But this is personal. Hank's digging it. This is awesome. He's in the city center, training door right in front of him. His dad always said the first step's what matters. Hank shoves the door open, ready to crush this training. All right, this is where he picks a weapon and trashes the scarecrow. Training's always the same crap, dumb to expect anything different. Tons of weapons just popped up. He's gonna grab something familiar. He grabbed the newbie sword. He's a second-degree black belt in kendo, but real fighting's different from game mechanics. Hank always went with swords in games. This is a hybrid weapon type, skills and abilities-wise, so he'll stick with the sword he knows. Scarecrow just appeared. Training shadow, stats unknown. This scarecrow doesn't look too threatening. Hank swung his sword and sliced it right in half. Mission complete, and the guy got his reward. Fresh out of training, and they've saddled him with a pro babysitter on top of being a newbie. The guy's incognito, which is clutch. Hannah's gonna flip when she finds out he's an unofficial ranker. He was loving that predator vibe, even though he's lower level. The kid just unlocked the title list. Dude hit the jackpot. Now he can roll into any village he wants. The northern idea differs by continent. Korea's considered the heart of the idea. It's what grows it. Hank headed to Daeha Village, notorious for being the toughest village for rookies. He picked that village because of the orc camp nearby. Orcs are usually level 30 monsters. Newbies struggle to hunt them, even with reincarnation. That's exactly why nobody usually goes there. The best place to grind is where nobody else is. So Hank found himself in Daeha Village. The guards are wondering why nobody's coming to their village. The Daeha Village monster's an acid slime, hard to dodge and even harder to block. For newbies, its acid projectile attacks way too fast and the acid melts your gear and hair. It's not all bad, I guess, since there's an orc camp not far from the guards. One guard suggested the other explain it with finger puppets again. Suddenly the guards saw a flash of light in front of them. It's a visitor. The villagers came out. They hadn't seen anyone in ages. Hank looked around. So this is Daeha, and everyone's gathering around him. It's just some noob. All this fuss over him, people started heading back inside. The guards are bummed. Even if he is immortal, they still feel bad for the guy. This dude asked them where he could find some monsters around here. They told him to stay away from the acid slimes. Those things are way too tough for a newbie. Hank knows what he's doing, that's why he came here. Their acid flies like a freaking projectile. Dodging's gonna be rough. Hank waved goodbye to them. So young and already stubborn, looks like he's about to get his ass kicked. Hank booked it into the forest, moving fast. He stopped and scanned the area. That's a slime, and it's kinda small. Hitting it won't be easy. Okay. Now I see why these things are a pain for beginners. The slime spat acid right at the guy. Okay. Those beginner projectiles can be seriously fast. Hank just shoved his sword right down the slime's throat. That was a devastating hit to the target. Player took down the acid slime and got some XP, but this is way too easy. Hank's not getting anywhere here. He's better off asking where the orc camp is. The guards had no clue what he was talking about or why he wanted that. This dude wanted to go hunting, but he didn't get what the guards were on about. They were practically begging him not to even think about it. He's still young, got his whole life ahead of him. Can't go throwing it away like that. Both guards gave the kid a handful of gold coins. This dude reminded him of his nephew, and they told him to forget about the slugs and use the cash to buy a scroll in another village. Hank earned himself a title, King of the Freeloaders. They could have just said they didn't want to talk, but of course he took the money. Guess I gotta find this camp myself. It's gotta be past the slug field on the other side. Might run into some monsters along the way. Hank spotted a huge footprint. Looks like he's on the right track. Then he heard a rustling in the bushes behind him. A bunch of red orcs stepped out and spotted the human. The orcs wanted to destroy the human. They're fast, but their movements are clunky and sloppy. Relying just on brute force is a dumb move. It's way too predictable. Hank's going after him. That orc's got a vital organ busted, a fatal hit. Thanatos nightmares activated. The red orcs tripping balls. 5 seconds of hallucinations dealing damage. Hank's brawling with the other orcs, launching off the ground, slamming into that one. Leveling up with every orc, Hank got 1 ore from the Thanatos dream effect. Leveling here is easy. Plus, I got an ore. Monster hunting's my thing. The orcs keep coming. They want to wipe out the human. He can handle them even without attack skills. He'll pick something later. He's just a human, but it's time to level up. The village was dead silent. The guards were yawning, totally bored out of their skulls. But hey, that's awesome. Even if they're slacking off, at least they're safe. Then the guards heard something and totally freaked out. Red orcs must be coming. The guys got their weapons ready. Then they realized they were wrong. It wasn't orcs. Hank walked up to them. He was surprised to see the guards. They didn't get why he was coming from that direction, but he just said, hey. He probably escaped the orcs. That's why he's all beat up. But good thing he got out. The kid was wondering where he could sell all this stuff. Kinda awkward listening to them now. Turns out he had a ton of red orc hides, like 20, maybe even 40. If Hank heads that way, he'll find a shop that buys this stuff up. You couldn't tell by looking at the guy that he was any good. The guards were thinking about their money, wondering if they should ask for it back. At the shop, a seller greeted Hank. The guy had something to sell. The guy was surprised the kid could take down even a couple of orcs. Hank pulled out the loot that dropped from like 50 orcs. He leveled up pretty good. He's got hides, bones, teeth, all in great shape. For all that, the seller will give him 150 gold coins. He pulled out a pouch with a little more than that. Hank realized he could make even more money here than at his old job. He figured he'd have to focus on leveling up, not just making cash. But even now, he can still make bank off random junk. He's got to work even harder. The guards were blown away. They wished they had that kind of enthusiasm for orc hunting. Hank must really love hunting if he's rushing back like that. If they realize he's not a newbie, they might want their money back. Gotta bail fast. The kid dodged the orc's swing. Then he chopped its head off with his sword. The next monster didn't just lose its head, he ran him through too. Now things aren't too tough for Hank here either. It's been 10 hours in-game. He leveled up, but all the good stuff here is just ingredient junk. He needs tougher monsters, ain't wasting time here. Better head to the village. There's got to be a boss around here somewhere, usually with elite monsters. Hank needs at least one attacking skill. His strength and agility are decent, but he needs more mana to spam those skills. He's sweating his magic stat being a little low, but he can always grind it later. The wait for new items is 30 days. He'll start with a common one. He got a common item, an iron dagger. He'll be chucking this thing around, just like the description said. Next, he got a rare item, a ring. Looks like one of the best rare items, too. Getting good stuff this early is awesome. He even snagged a unique item. It's an A-list branch. Hank thinks it's useless. Hopefully, the heroic item won't let him down. The dude wanted something he could actually use, but this owl ain't nothing special. Guess there's a quest tied to this thing. Bet it'll come in handy later. Finally, Hank got a legendary item in his inventory. He was hoping this one wouldn't be a total letdown. It turned out to be an egg. Seriously? Hank just threw his money down the drain. Suddenly, a red orc pops out of the bushes behind him again. It tried to attack, but Hank clocked it in the gut with a right hook. The monster disintegrated, and the guy moved on to another shop. Skills are pricier here, but totally worth it. He can use them right away. First up, Hank picked a basic one. Run was the skill that popped up. Then I leveled up to rare and got Mana Blast. My unique skill was the Berserker's War Cry. Hank's heroic skill turned out to be the Siren's Serenade. The legendary skill I got was the Reaper's Chain, which can force a soul from the deceased and guide it to the afterlife. It's an AoE skill. Finally got a powerful one. Someone was watching this player in a special room. Inferno is the corporation that created Idea, and their main office is in Korea. An employee called his boss thinking he needed to see this. This is just insane. No one knew there'd be a player capable of this. Team leader Joe Minton didn't understand why the development group added that. We need to bump him up to top priority watch list. I mean, he got a god-tier specialization. And out of all the towns, he picks Daha. Maybe he figured he could level up faster there. The boss got it and started tapping his finger against the employee's head. Another employee chimed in, saying the player opened a cash shop. Minton was stoked. He hadn't paid the guy any attention at first, but after watching him play, he got a really bad feeling. In the wrong hands, even the best specialization is just a title. Hank Sons, even if he was an experienced player, without exceptional talent. He shouldn't be playing like he's in the top 0.1%. He's so damn good, even the team leader's blown away. He's wondering why this prodigy hasn't been playing till now. He'd love to juice the drop rates in his damn item shop. Basically, Idea's the only one who controls the AI creator. There's stuff in the game made by that AI, even the dev team can't touch it. Minton ain't religious, but praying is all they can do right now. Lucky for him, Hank didn't get anything useful from that unique drop. Joe figured his prayers were answered when he got a heroic item. But then he was instantly bummed, wondering why it dropped now. It's Ilis's quest, and he just snagged the key item for it. Minton needs to chill, it can't get any worse than this. He was praying he'd get some kind of staff from the legendary pull. Dude saw a legendary item drop and it was an egg. Joe had no clue what it was, and neither did any of the other employees. Good thing Hank can't just use it right away, gotta check with the dev team first. Now the guy's picking skills and Minton's praying again. It's all good as long as he doesn't pick attack. Just no offensive skills. Doesn't matter how skilled he is, he ain't getting far without some offense. Only the legendaries left and he pulls Reaper's Chain. Joe was in shock. That's the best legendary skill, and he got that chain on top of the Siren's Serenade. No way he's gonna fail clearing that orc camp with skills and talent like that. So, after offing the red orc boss, there's no way he's missing that hidden dungeon. Joe went to report all this to his superiors. They wished him good luck. Once a month, Hank can buy legendary items and skills from the DP store. He needs to level up narcolepsy. Sleep's the priority now, and with sleepwalking, he can hunt non-stop. Just like he thought, this god-tier class is freaking awesome. He was always stressed out of his mind at work. Now he's made 100 grand won in roughly 3 hours of real time. This guy realizes Hannah's raking in way more dough. She's already level 331. Guess he won't have to worry about the cost of living anymore. He's still got some pride. Ain't gonna live off of Hannah's cash. Hank's hitting level 300 in 3 months, which means it's go time. The dude went boss hunting. He spotted skulls tied to a stick with a red rag hanging off. This is a red orc camp. Hank peeked out from the bushes but didn't see anyone looking like a boss. He did see one mage monster, gotta be an elite orc. They've got 2 mages at this camp. Gonna have to burn some DR. When the boss shows, Death Sabbath is the play for control. Plus, gotta deal with the small fry. He fired up Siren's Serenade. The orc squad froze like they were hypnotized. The siren was singing her song and the monsters had no clue where it was coming from. One of them finally spotted him and Hank cursed because he was made. The monsters charged at him, led by the Red Orc's hero, Kurak. The guy realized this was their boss and pulled out his sword. Hank unleashed the Reaper chains and they immediately attacked the orcs. The chains took out a bunch of monsters and the player's level went up. His level shot up and the Red Orc hero Kurak was defeated. Sun's got 50 DP, a map, and a couple of titles too. Hank was stoked. He thought it was unbelievable. He checked out the horizon. Not a bad view, actually. Camp's still empty. Orcs ain't respawning. Probably because nobody hunts here. But maybe it's the map? Barak Kurak, that's gotta be a hidden dungeon. If Hank clears this dungeon too, all the monsters could respawn. The dude stopped at the cave entrance. This entrance looks way too obvious to be a secret. Elite monsters are super strong. They use skills, and they're all over dungeons. Hank walked up to the door. This is the hidden dungeon. Time to grind for XP and loot. He stepped into the Orc Tomb dungeon. He's the first to explore this dungeon, so he gets double XP for the clear. The souls of the Orc warriors have awakened. We gotta attack and use our skills. Of the attack skills, besides the Reaper chains, Hank's got volley. This ain't gonna be easy. There's just one monster in front of the guy. He's gonna test something out on it. Just like he thought. The damage from a regular hit is way lower. The orc wanted the human dead. Hank used volley. He hit a weak spot and landed a critical strike. But the damage wasn't from his weapon, so Thanatos' nightmare isn't triggering. The guy started hacking at another orc with his sword. The monster just got pissed and started swinging its club. Hank used volley. Knees are a weak spot too. Any attack skill can crit there. Just like the guy figured, he's got the timing down. Now he knows exactly when these guys are going to strike. The timing's so weird here, you can totally dodge. If he chains his attacks, he can win this. That orc just vanished. If there's like 50 of them down here, he'll probably level up 5 times in this dungeon. Now that Hank's memorized their attack patterns, time to clear this place out. Hannah signed up for a bunch of rehab programs. It's going to be harder to hide this. But for now, Hank's just gaming. This game's seriously fun. His aunt should give it a shot. Her brother's probably already level 20. Then again, he does have a killer class, rare and unique. He's got to be around level 10 or 15. Hannah spotted a crowd of students across the street. If she hadn't gotten in that accident, she'd be in school, living just like them. But she's met some seriously cool people in Idea too. She told the guild members about her brother, even though he probably won't join, but there's no rush, no idea when they'll play together. But if he's got a heroic class, he'll be level 5. Hannah was stoked. She had a bet going with him. Hank kept saying he'd hit the top 1,000 in 3 months. The girl giggled, knowing that was totally impossible. When she wins, she's definitely making him buy her something. Dr. Mina isn't really into this game, but Hannah promised to help out. She can only help her brother in 3 months, which kinda surprised the doctor. Hank's almost done, just gotta waste the mini-boss and the big orc. Once he's dealt with them, double XP, and he'll be over level 30. Then he can snag that extra special class skill. The dude was hoping he'd get something useful. Red door right in front of him. The mini-boss has gotta be behind it. Hank went to open the door, and it started swinging open. The Orc Warlock's spirit awakens, and it's waking up the Orc Warrior spirits too. The guy was surprised about the Orc Warriors. Totally didn't see that coming. The Orcs are ready to charge and show this human what they're made of. Hank took a moment to think on it. Looks like we got an Orc Shaman slinging spells. These Orc Warrior souls are powered up, giving buffs and everything. Dude's fighting hard, but these Orcs are definitely not the same as before. He's saving the Reaper chain for the boss. He can handle these guys himself. A pillar of fire just erupted. That's gotta be that Orc's doing. Like the upgrades weren't enough. Now they're using magic. Hank's got no idea what he's in for with this difficulty level. Time for him to show these monsters what he's made of. The Orc Shaman raised his staff with the horned skull high. That monster's using fire and instant explosions. This fight could give me an edge against the zone boss. First things first, Hank needs to learn their attack patterns. 5 minutes later, he crushed the orc warrior's soul. The warlock's casting way less. He's probably running out of mana. Hank switched to his sword to take on the orcs. He's taken out almost all of them. Just one left now. The orc warlock just stood there snarling, not understanding how a human could win. Then his head hit the floor. Hank had conquered the warlock's soul. Level up again. This guy's loving it. That fight was tough and lasted longer than he thought. He almost ran out of steam. The red boss is waiting behind the red door, and the fight should be quicker than with the warlock. The door's opening. Finally, Hank's gonna throw down with the boss. They suggested he go down to the second level of the orc tomb dungeon. So this isn't even the boss yet, but we gotta keep moving. Hank's definitely using the Reaper's chains on this guy. The dude walked down the long hallway. It felt like forever. He was cursing this whole area. They're monitoring VR idea from the user management office. Since time works differently in the capsules, access to the office is also through capsules at Inferno HQ. It's only been 5 hours in reality, but 25 in idea. That's a serious violation of overtime laws, even if only real-world time counts. If the staff's unhappy, they could rat out Minton and tell the bosses what's going on. The game's only been out a year. Why are they so hung up on some newbie? Luckily, the higher-ups don't really care. It's just one player lagging behind the others by a year. The problem's Judy Means, the director. She's the only one sweating this Hank Sons guy. The Thanatos descendant was made to populate the world with an extra continent. No one was supposed to get it. If that job didn't exist, Joe wouldn't be in this department. He'd be transferred somewhere else. Judy made the idea special. That's why the company backs her calls. This Hank guy's back in the game, and he's blazing through the secret dungeon. He already beat the mini-boss using his own abilities, not even leveling up or using skills in combat. At this rate, he'll be totally stacked by the time he gets to the boss. And get this, he's already hit level 33. That skill we were talking about unlocks at level 30. Another player would take a week to get this far, but he did it in a day. A lot of folks get stuck grinding at these levels, but you get new skills too. Plus, most players hit a major slowdown right about now. Minton's curious how Hank's gonna handle this. He needs to stick it out as long as he can. The dungeon reward's gonna be huge. He pulled some killer stuff from the DR shop. Really helps him level faster. No real reason for us to hold him back. Better to just watch and see what happens. Joe started laughing, 'cause that's in there too. Paramount Mountain, where rankers sweat blood, and right now it's a total war zone. The Cyclops was blasting a crazy beam of light from its eye. That thing could vaporize anything it hit. But the players weren't backing down. They kept fighting him. The Cyclops went to smash them flat with his fist. This one girl held up her sword and blocked the hit. Then she slashed his fingers, and the monster was freaking out. A player in full armor charged in with a knight's lance. The Cyclops was hurt, and he roared like crazy. They've got him pinned, but you gotta watch out for his swing radius. One of the players suggested they all fall back. Everyone scattered, running in every direction. Only one was left facing the Cyclops, and now it was her turn. The girl slammed her magic staff into the ground, and rocks started gathering around her. They fused into a massive ball, rising up above the Cyclops. It was a gravity meteor. There was a bright flash, then an explosion. The other players started attacking the Cyclops again. One of them was going to go help Sunny. In the cloud of dust where the Cyclops stood, a black hole began to form. Sunny's got skills, no doubt, but even he can't kill that beast. She just stunned it. That massive blast stunned the Cyclops Lord for like 5 seconds. Player ducked down to Sunny, who was lying on the ground right in front of the Cyclops. She scooped her up and booked it out of there, laying down some serious damage. The other players opened fire on the monster with everything they had. The Cyclops Lord roared in agony. They took down Aptalikan, the Cyclops Lord. Everyone's stats just jumped by 10. The monster left behind a crazy pile of gold and other junk. Player, still holding Sunny, thanked the others for the backup. That was their leader, and she really outdid herself today. Sunny came to and confirmed that it was Rin's victory. If Tanguri and Rin weren't here, none of them could have tanked the Cyclops hits. If Hannah were with them, it would have been even easier. No idea why she didn't show up today. Sunny was pissed that Kaiser was hitting on Hannah. She's got health problems and she's in the hospital today. Kaiser didn't know, but if he hadn't asked, he wouldn't have bothered anyone. Hannah wants to invite her brother to join them. Apparently, he's got a unique rank. She knows about his rank. She just doesn't want to talk about it, even though she knows their rules. This is the Hero Guild, including Hannah. There are only 7 people in it. The guild leaders, Rin and Sunny, are both legendary rank. Tanguri, Hannah, and Stu are hero class. Eve and Kaiser are unique class. The guild only takes top players with unique class specializations. Rin decided to invite her little sister, who's also unique class. She just switched her specialization, so she'll catch up soon. That sister's only level 50, but she started playing a month ago. Usually it takes 2 months just to hit 60. She's a skilled player. Rin probably hasn't invited her yet because she's waiting for level 100. Everyone agreed with Kaiser's guess. The others agreed too, wondering why Rin gets to call all the shots. Sunny was all in with both hands, and she's been ready to go for a while now. Rin said thanks, and she won't be playing on this account for now. Apparently she's helping out her sister. It's tough to get the stuff you need in Idea. You mostly get materials and consumables. So people make a second account and level it up to farm resources. A character at her sister's level is more useful than Rin's main, so they'll manage without joint raids for a bit. Looks like it's back to hunting just with her again, and somebody's not thrilled about it. Rin was worried how they'd react to her taking a break, but she shouldn't have been. Everyone here's super cool. After that, they got together to split up the loot. They were going to divide everything up, and everyone picked out something for themselves. Loot's divided. Time to head back to the guild. Sunny started saying goodbye to Rin. She was wrapping up the loot and heading to her second account. Eve promised to wait for her in Reihe City. Hank obliterated the Red Orc warrior's soul and got 1 DR. He decided not to waste any more time and headed for the Red Door. The guy had already earned enough DR, so he's using the Death Sabbath. Health's good, stamina's back, so it's time to roll. Once he's in the room, he can't log out or use a teleport scroll. Hank confirmed he wanted to enter the chambers of Mad Carrack. There was a terrifying orc sitting there. The guy was surprised. This room's huge, like 5 times bigger than the mini-bosses. But that's no surprise, considering the size difference between the monsters. Hank figured he'd be sleeping, and based on the description, it's definitely an orc. These guys usually have a second phase, and if Hank uses the chains, he's going to have a bad time after that. He'll fight with his own strength first, then use the Reaper chains at the end. The orc heard that, opened his eyes, and roared. Hank got chills from that scream. This has got to be the main boss. The guy grabbed his sword. The orc's already closing in, time to attack. Hank's vision's getting blurry, but this is a crucial moment. Can't let his eyes close. The boss is right in front of him now. He can't just fall asleep. Mintone was stoked at the office. His narcolepsy kicked in right on time. The AI's gonna fight for him now, because there's no way he could beat the Carrack raid boss himself. One of the employees went up to the boss. Thanatos' sleepwalking is designed so the player keeps their abilities. The AI will just copy his skills. Mintone agreed, so looks like he will take down the boss. The employees probably thought he was happy, because the AI was going to lose to Carrack. Figures? He falls asleep, sleepwalking activates, and the AI still crushes the boss no problem. If it uses Death Sabbath and Reaper's chains, that boss won't even make it to Phase 2. These guys are going to see what's up soon enough. Looks like the gods finally heard his prayers. Hank's sleepwalking kicked in, and he got up with his eyes closed. 20 minutes passed. Hank annihilated that berserk Carrack. Minton was blown away. That was epic. The AI's even better than Sun's now. So, once a player gets used to the game's mechanics, they'll be at that same level. Idea's got perfect AI, which might be a little too good. Minton started to argue, but then shut his mouth. It's anyone's guess what player Hank's up to now. He just went to sleep right next to a huge pile of gold. And the dude crashed out hard, quick. If he doesn't grab his gear now, it'll disappear real quick. Minton was stoked. That's exactly what he was talking about. Joe's over the moon. Sleepwalking AI is only good for fighting. Once the threat's wiped out, he'll crash out again. Cleared dungeons reset after a while, and it teleports you to the nearest town. Hank woke up at home, still in his pod. He was bummed about the narcolepsy. Sucks in real life. But this is a game. Don't sweat it. 8 real hours is 40 in-game. The AI should level up big time. Hank's phone buzzed. Someone's calling him. It's Chuck Heaven, Sons' buddy since school. That's out of nowhere. They met up and grabbed some drinks. It had been ages since they'd hung out like this. Hank was always tied up. If Chuck called him out of the blue like this, it had to be important. Haven started his own business. Hank was surprised and gave him props. Chuck had to grind his way up from nothing, and his buddy was curious what they were doing. Basically, his job's still the same. He edits videos to make them look awesome. Mostly stuff based on Idea. Guess it's a video about that game, but streaming's a no-go right now. Time moves 5 times faster there, and regular content's gotten even bigger. Demand for video editors shot up. No streams and you ain't making bank on unedited vids. Blogger managers usually trust companies more. Plus, player skill is key. Chuck started a company making game videos, or rather, a company of pro editors. Kevin's gonna be swamped. He hasn't even signed with anyone from MeTube yet. He just started the company yesterday. He'll get to that tomorrow. He's busy now. Chuck didn't believe Hank quit his job without some kind of backup plan. He knows him well. They've been friends for years. Hank confessed he's working on Idea. Dude's gonna make money inside Idea, even though he never played it before. Chuck was surprised. He's curious what Sansa's specialty is there. Hank laughed. His buddy catches on quick. Dude's got a god-tier class. Heaven didn't see that coming, downed his shot in one gulp. He's wondering what level his buddy's at right now. Something around level 30, judging by the real-world time, even though he hasn't even played a full day. Son's only played for 8 hours. Chuck was surprised. The guy needs to make a video. But his friend shouldn't forget the point. Heaven remembers him in school. They even wanted him in the pro leagues, but this is something else. People on MeTube are pulling in $1 million for a single video. You can easily make $1 million a month on a good video. His co-worker's doing that. That guy's raking in $100 million a month. Hank wanted to know where he needed to sign, and Heaven was confused. The kid's talking about the contract, duh. That's why Chuck brought the pen. To do this, Hank needs to jump in the game, say he's recording, and then send the file to Heaven. It's simple, but the kid's not sure it'll work. People love watching good players, though. Chuck knows best. Hank asked when he's going to get started on his channel. He's probably swamped, but that's not the point. Don't ask anyone else, they might steal his profits. That's why Hank asked his friend. He'd do a way better job with the channel, and they'd split the cash 50-50. Chuck yelled at him to always ask for, 80% at least. When Hank ran out of money, Heaven gave him the money for medical expenses. Money he'd been saving for school. Sons can't forget that. He's the one who should be grateful. So it's going to be a 50-50 split. Or there's no deal. Back in middle school, everyone picked on Chuck. But Hank was the only one who reached out to help him. Back then, the dude offered Heaven to grab some lunch in the cafeteria. Now, he was suggesting they grab a drink together, and Chuck agreed. Heaven figured he wouldn't take half. He wouldn't take anything at all. Hank got back to his place and went over to the capsule. Chuck said if he plugged in this flash drive, the video would pop up. A menu appeared. Sansu needed to hit record video. The guy found the latest video, but saw some extra settings. He was stoked they even had something like that. Chuck was chilling at home when a message popped up on his phone. Hank wasn't kidding. Heaven was about to check out the file. Dude said he didn't get how anything worked, and he was wearing a mask. Chuck thought it was super intriguing. He was pumped. Sons just wrecked those orcs, and they're supposed to be elite monsters. No way. You don't even need to edit anything here. Heaven decided to skip straight to the boss fight. He was dying to see this monster. It showed this massive orc and Hank standing near it. No clue what's up with Sons, he's totally zoned out. And his aura just took a serious nosedive. Changed completely. He's still got the fight under control, mostly. But his whole style's different now. He's waiting. Then bam. Strikes hard at all the weak spots. Usually he just bulldozes through the hunter's attacks. But with the boss, every move's planned out, down to the last detail, and executed perfectly. He's like a freaking knight. Movements are flawless. It's like he's a totally different dude. The hunter's trying to one-shot him, but the knight's just calmly smothering him with attacks. Non-stop. That's stage 2, and Heaven picked up on something else too. They showed the boss full on, and he let out a huge roar. This video freaked Chuck out so bad it made his hair stand on end. He knew something was seriously wrong. Hank unleashed the Reaper's chains and went on the offensive. The chains dug into the boss's flesh, crushing him. The monster's screams got even louder. He was begging for backup. Hank was ready to finish the job. He moved in with his sword. The guy slashed the orc, then jumped back. The monster went down too. The boss was snarling, and tears started streaming from his eyes. He began to dissolve, and a pile of gold appeared where he was. That's awesome. Kevin spammed his buddy with texts. He had to know what just happened. Hank was clueless why Chuck was blowing up his phone at this hour. Then Heaven called, and he picked up, already wide awake. Chuck got 0 sleep thanks to Sansa's video, but not 'cause it sucked. It's the opposite. It's the best damn thing he's seen, even better than the edited stuff. Top players worldwide aren't dropping content like that. Chuck was dead serious. If he's that hyped, then upload the video ASAP, the sooner the better. Chuck's guys are going to be pulling all-nighters this week, but they'll make it perfect. Plus, thanks to this video, Heaven won't have to work on anything else. He'll also give Hank a heads up when he drops the video on MeTube. To top a video this insane, Chuck's gonna need to learn a whole lot more. Hannah thanked him for the food and asked her brother what his rank was. But if he admits it, his sister might figure everything out right away. There's no way he'd quit his job if his specialization was worse. She figured he was a heroic rank. Then he could join a guild if he wanted. Rin's sister leveled up from 52 to 60 in one day, even with the guild leader helping. That's crazy fast for a unique rank. Hecken didn't say exactly what his level was, just that it was a little over 30. Hannah looked surprised. He confirmed it was around 30. He leveled up that much in one day? That's impossible. Is my brother messing with me? Dude, Hecken only started playing last night, and he changed his specialization at level 1. He already told her that. Hannah was impressed. Her brother was leveling up fast. Hank logged in, and a crapload of messages popped up. The guy had no clue when he'd get around to reading them all. First, he's got to check out what he got for beating that boss. He was hoping it'd be something good. The dungeon loot was like hidden somewhere. No way there's nothing there, though. Still, he leveled up a few skills while he was asleep, so not bad. After you clear a dungeon, it resets to normal, so it's recommended to grab your stuff quick. Plus, if the dungeon resets, the player gets teleported out and the loot is gone for good. Come to think of it, Hank really did wake up inside the village. Now he's lost all his gear, which sucks for his character build. If he grinds up his strength, magic, and stamina a bit, he can equip Eyeless's crappy creation. After level 30, they gave him a new skill, Thanatos Nocturne, an attack skill, a divine skill that doesn't use any mana or DP. He can spam that all day, sweet. But there's got to be stuff that only drops in hidden dungeons, like skill books. They couldn't have just vanished. The guards didn't even ask for money to give it back. And he just ran. The guy headed to the orc camp. They better hand over that hidden dungeon map. The orcs were surprised. Hank wiped them all out. But nothing dropped. The secret passage to the dungeon is gone. The kid was celebrating his win. Totally lost his mind. He couldn't stop laughing. Those guards can kiss that money goodbye. Hank needs to look on the bright side. At least he didn't die, or he'd be locked out of his account for a day. Sons is checking his stats. He's got enough stats now to equip this thing. Eyeless's failed experiment. An amplifier. Guess you just slap it on your weapon. Something changed on the sword. Now it looks like a circuit board with a glowing circle. Hank's digging it. All that's left is to keep grinding. Dude fired up the search function. Hunting grounds for players level 70 to 80. Reha dropped. Sounds like an upgraded version of Deha. Hank was digging it, so he decided to head over there. People were buying all kinds of stuff, especially poison-resist potions. Hank's stuck here because he's out of teleport scrolls, needs a hand. Need a player to clear the crystal cave, he'll sell everything to buy a scroll and bail. Looking for a level 75 rogue in Reha City Central Plaza. Hank thought it'd be less crowded, but there's way too many people here. Begging for a teleport scroll, dude's hoping there'll be fewer players in the dungeon. Gotta bail out of here before he starts begging for stuff like he needs in level 80 dungeon. There's no way Hank can get into the Lycan dungeon. Entry's only for groups of 3 or more, and once you're in, you can't ditch the group unless everyone's still breathing. And Hank's back at the square again. He's on the hunt for folks to take on the Lycan dungeon with him. He's practically begging people to come with him. That dungeon's calling his name. That second account belongs to Rin, the guild master of the Heroes Guild, Rin herself. She was helping her out, but why the rush? Joining the guild could have waited. The problem is, all of Ray's dungeons are for 3 players. Doubt anyone wants to go to the Lycan Cave. Then she overheard someone looking for people to clear the Lycan Cave. Someone's looking for a party. Usually high-level players show up with their guildmates. He ain't one of them. He's looking for a group for the Lycan Cave. Starting gear, huh? Maybe he's a Smurf account after all. High-ranking players hunt on alts just to level up their skills. Rin's out of options anyway, so she walked up to the guy. She's got another girl with her, so that makes 3 of them total. Hank was alone, so they'll head over to her sister. The gamer girl's name is Rena, and the dude's Hank's sons. The sisters wanted to clear the Lycan Cave, but they're 1 person short. Rena's wondering how long Hank plans to hunt. Guess that came out kinda harsh. She figured it was obvious. Every 100th level dungeon around Reka takes a full group. Looks like he's level 80, so he's not a twink. This is perfect. Rena suggested fighting together. Can't get into level 80 dungeons without a group. Their levels aren't that high either. She's hoping Hank won't mind. His level's low too, he should be apologizing. Together they can grind. Getting him to 100th level dungeons would be sweet. Gotta make sure he keeps up. Eva knows a dual blade warrior. She's fast, but no need to rush things. Got a text from her little sis, the guy's gotta wait a sec. They agreed to meet at the cafe. Hank asked if he could buy a new sword. Rena'll wait while he hits the smithy across the way. The guy's the best in town. This dude ain't exactly speed demon material for in level 80. Looks like Heckin focuses on agility, which means he won't slow them down too much. He's still rocking the same gear. Guess he didn't find anything worthwhile in there. He did snag a rare sword because of Aelis's craft, though it looks totally ordinary. They're about to head out. His sister's already waiting at a cafe nearby. 2 players strolled into the cafe. That coffee scent was killer. Ava looks young. Could be Hannah's age. Maybe even younger. Age ain't the thing. If they're hitting up Lycan's cave, they're both pretty strong. Rena's probably got a high-level main account, considering how much she knows about the game. The guy introduced himself as Heckin's sons, hoping for some good hunting. The girl's name is Eva No, and she's not much of a talker. Since Hank's gonna keep playing here, Rena was hoping they could team up down the line. Ava said to cut them some slack. They're low level, but they won't get in the way with their skills. Hank's low level too. Eva's not quiet, just confident without being a show-off. This dude's feeling the urge to level up big time. These sisters are like night and day. He and Hannah are worlds apart too, but the day'll come when he can hunt with his sister. Rena invited him to the party. He's freaking out. This is his first ever squad. Hank accepted the invite and the girls were stunned silent. Turns out they show your level around here, and Hank was saying his was low. But a level 35? Looks like the girls are going to be carrying him through this dungeon. No way his speed is only level 35, that's more like level 80 stuff. With stats like that, he's got to have some high-tier specialization. I bet his other stats aren't far behind either. Which means it's legendary. Rena absolutely has to team up with this guy. Eve's wondering what her sister is planning. Hank figured they'd kick him out right away. The level difference is huge. Rena reassured him everything's cool. If the dude wants to go there, he must have the skills to fight, level be damned. Rena's gonna test his skills, and the guy's stoked he won't have to shout in the square for a group again. He thanked them and asked if he could film the hunt, and the girls were down with it. Hank just started his channel. They're still editing his videos. He's gonna start filming as soon as they hit the dungeon. The team's ready to go. Hank was surprised they were heading in right away. You can tell he's new to idea, but he seems to know his way around. The dude agreed. It's just his first time hunting with a squad. Usually the girls run through the monster intel. They're hoping it'll help Hank. They don't usually do briefings either, but where's the fun in memorizing everything? They're all set to head into Lichen Cave. The 3 players made it to the cave entrance. There was an arrow pointing the way in. They're here, everyone's ready, and they asked Hank to go in first. You should never say something like that during a team raid, though. Girls want to know what he's capable of, you know? Like if things go south, they're going to be the ones pulling him out. If you say that to someone you just met, they might get pissed. Eve shouldn't be asking for stuff like that, but she thought it was fair enough. Hank was totally down, which kind of shocked the girls. He figured it wouldn't be cool if they couldn't trust him during the raid. He's low level, so he's cool with showing off his skills first. If Rena turns him down now, he might think she thinks he's a weakling. She agreed. The dude said, "Let's go," and they headed into the dungeon. The monsters woke up after starving for a long time. They're tougher now, so the players get more XP. Hank hit record on the video settings. Instantly, he put on his game face. The girls didn't know why he wore the mask. It was just his thing. The players saw a monster paw and heard it growl. Hank announced it was time for a little warm-up. The girls hung back as the dude adjusted his sleeves. The whole monster finally came into view. It's a humanoid monster. This is going to be fun. The beast lunged at Hank and he drew his sword, ready to fight it off. He's not dodging the attack. He hasn't even pulled out his blade yet. Rena thought he was going to die right then and there. Maybe she jumped the gun. The dude managed to pull his sword and took a swing at the monster. The girls were blown away. A hit like that? Impossible. That was perfect. Savage strike. The player landed a critical hit, so Hank can dish out critical damage even without hitting a weak spot. A purple orb appeared. That's got to be a nightmare charge. Hank used Thanatos Nocturne. The girls were even more shocked than before. They had no idea what that was. The purple orb slammed right into the monster's head. The monster started shaking like crazy, and purple energy was pouring out of it. 1 second later, he dropped to his knees right in front of the player. His face was a mask of terror, and the monster just kept shaking. Hank took down the werewolf and scored 1 DR for the Thanatos' dream effect. The girls couldn't wrap their heads around it. It seemed impossible. Even though she saw it with her own eyes, his moves were just too clean and precise. Even if it's some kind of skill, landing the attack still comes down to the player's abilities. Eve had no idea who he was or how he could move like that. She couldn't do that herself. Hank's fighting style was a work of art. She's got to get him in the guild. This guy now knows what Thanatos' Nocturne can really do. He just showed the girls what he's capable of, at this level, with just 3 attacks. All right, time to get this hunt started. Turns out there were 3 werewolves ahead of us. Hank charged in first, the girls right behind him. That ain't no skill. No visual effects or nothing, just crazy high agility. Eve decided she needed to pick up the pace. The werewolves were getting ready to pounce on the players. Hank started swinging his sword like a madman. Devastating hit. Thanatos Nightmare activated, targets paralyzed by hallucinations and pain. The dude started wailing on the rest of the monsters. He hit a weak spot. That's a critical hit. Blood started spraying everywhere from the monsters. Hank unleashed the Nocturne of Thanatos again. The monsters were paralyzed, tripping balls on hallucinations. Just then, Eva came running up. She was staring at one seriously messed up scene. Hank just kept swinging his sword, hacking away at the monsters. Monster blood was splattering all over him. He didn't get that far, but he still took down 3 of them before Eva caught up. Rena rushed over, totally confused about where all the monsters went. Hank saw they'd arrived and suggested they keep moving. The dude just bolted again, and the girls were totally stunned. Rena agreed to get her butt in gear and follow him. Hank was sprinting ahead, spotting 4 monsters. Nocturne's cooldown still had 4 minutes left. Guess he'll try out the new gear in a fight without using any skills. The guy was swinging his sword all over the place, quickly wounding the monsters, and they were screaming. So when he attacks with a spin, he does even more damage. This rare weapon outclasses the usual stuff in even the smallest ways. Hank was actually having a blast. He kept hacking at the monsters and chopped off one's arm. Hank blocked him, then launched a counterattack right from the block. The dude kept hacking away at the monster, slicing it up good. Then he jumped up and swung his sword down hard. The monster whined, scared out of its mind, and got hit by the blade. Hank saw Eve was already here working those twin blades of hers. That girl was fighting like a beast. She looked totally badass. The guy remembered there were 4 monsters and spun around. The werewolf was freaking terrified, whimpering and shaking like a leaf. Monsters can be scared of players too. That's kinda interesting. Hank took down the werewolf, and a spear was gleaming on the ground in front of him. He got a spear, which he doesn't even need, but he'll grab it anyway. Can sell it for a good price. Eve's doing great. We shouldn't help her, even if it looks kinda bad. She's crushing it, blocking with those blades, then spinning them for double the attacks. That's seriously awesome, super effective, and looks sick. Maybe Hank should grab some dual swords too. The Thanatos Nightmare works with any weapon. Still, probably shouldn't switch up your fighting style that drastically. It's already over. Hank took out 3, and Eve just 1. Then Rin showed up. Sun suggested they keep moving. He bolted ahead. He seemed to be having a blast in the group. Eve thought he was pissed, and Rin agreed with her. Only a handful of top guild leaders know that. The heroes are the only 7-member guild that ever scored their own territory. This is Shinteen Castle, the heroes' guild headquarters. Sunny, a legendary rank player, was super bored here without Rin around. Kaiser's out on some hitman gig. Some dude Tanguri's got a pregnant wife. Everyone else scattered too, and Sunny was thinking of rolling an alt account. The teleport circle's active, so someone just warped in. A girl walked in. She figured Sunny would be chilling. It was Hannah, and she was hoping she hadn't missed anything. Ever since her brother quit his job to play Idea, she's had to be extra careful he doesn't find out. She figures Hank must have bailed after snagging some awesome first-level specialty. He used to work at C Electronics, and Hannah was trying to figure out how high up he was and why he left. Looks like he was at least heroic rank. That makes sense, considering what he did. This means my brother could join them too. They don't care how he plays, but he might feel weird since everyone here's a total badass. Sunny realized Hank's actually pretty damn good. He got heroic rank on level 1 and already hit level 30. My bro likes to mess around, but he usually doesn't lie, and he doesn't look like he's lying either. Getting a character up 30 levels in a day without some crazy skills is just impossible. It's hard to believe, but if it's true, Hank might even be better than Rin. Hannah didn't think much of it, but even Rin couldn't pull that off. She's on her second account with her sister right now. We could ask her. Sunny focused up and called out to her sis, Rin. She'll call back later. The player's pulling ahead again. She's signing off. Looks like Rin's busy. They'll ask her next time. The girls were chasing after Hank through the cave. All that training over time really paid off. Agility increased by 1. The girls figured the guy was definitely pissed off. Rin was worried they wouldn't be able to recruit him. Hank was sprinting ahead at top speed. Up ahead were a whole lot of werewolf monsters. There were 11 of them, but Hank's about to wipe the floor with them all. The werewolves spotted the guy and started snarling. They charged, and Hank unleashed a blade right at him. The blade hit one of the monsters square in the leg. The werewolf howled, and the guy unleashed a barrage. A bunch of yellow crystal bullets went flying. But the werewolves just kept coming. That was a damn good shot, and Hank charged right in. He doesn't give a damn about the werewolves already hit. He just needs to smack down the rest of them. This pathetic dude's just strolling around like he doesn't even see the werewolves. Gotta take him out. They're fast. They've already got Hank surrounded. The kid just unleashed Thanatos Nocturne. Purple orbs popped up, and they started drilling into the monsters' heads. Hank wiped out 11 werewolves. He just racked up a ton of XP. He leveled up again, but his stats barely budged. Maybe he needs like 10 times the experience, not just 5. Just then, the girls ran up to him. They're totally winded. Looks like the guy went a little overboard. He suggested taking a breather, and Rin and Eva were all about it. Looks like Hank was only thinking about himself, and the girls just weren't getting him. Elite monsters are probably showing up soon, and the girls don't give a damn what they look like. If they don't get some rest now, they're gonna burn out. While they were chilling, Hank was training, practicing his hits. No idea how he's so strong, but if that's the price of power, the girls would rather quit right now. Eve's suddenly feeling ashamed for some reason, and Rin just decided to look away. Rin's sure he's hinting that they're taking way too long of a break. Hank noticed that after those movements, his punch is even stronger. Since this is a game, you can move in ways that defy the laws of physics. Guess that's a thing, huh? So, it's that hard on his body. This is fun. While the girls chill, he can test this out one more time. They've rested enough, time to hunt again. No need to rush, though. They can relax some more. The faster they clear this dungeon, the sooner they can finally catch a break. It's Hank pushing them with his training. That'll keep him from running off like that again. He took off. The girls liked it. They can keep up at that speed. He seems pissed they're lagging. Now even Eva looks like a grandma. She acts the same way when she and her sister slow down. Gotta apologize to her later. Another werewolf monster just popped up. He's definitely different from the other werewolves, like he lives at the gym. And he's got a dozen regular monsters with him. Taking them all out solo is going to be tough. Hank was hogging all the monsters earlier, so let's give these two a chance to cut loose. He'll take on the elite monster, leaving the rest to the girls, even though they're already tired just from running around. Rin wants to recruit Hank into their guild, so we can't screw this up. The elite monster was yelling at the guy, calling him an idiot. And then they started going at it. Hank managed to wound the monster in the shoulder. Next, the dude unleashed barrage. Purple orbs slammed into the monster's forehead. That monster's gonna kill him. Guess nobody else wants to take Hank out anymore. The monster swung its claws again and the guy chucked a blade at it. The werewolf deflected that blade with its claws. Hank lunged at the monster and slashed his sword, tearing open its gut. That's a devastating hit. He landed a critical strike. The monster started swearing it would rip the human apart. The guy used Thanatos' Nocturne. The purple orb slammed into the werewolf's head. Hank wiped out the werewolf, but he can't get EXP, even though he leveled up. That was easier than he thought. Now he's gonna watch the girls fight. Eva's all about speed. The longer Hank watches her, the cooler she looks. But Rena is way more precise and careful. Both of them are good. But Rena's still tripping over her own feet sometimes. It looks janky. If she can clean that up, she'll level up her gameplay. It's weird playing such a squishy character, but she's gotta show what she's got. Monsters wiped out. The girls plopped down on the floor to catch their breath. They just took down an elite monster plus a whole mob, and they're playing without a healer, so yeah, time for a break. Hank was surprised they wanted to chill, but he agreed they totally earned it. Usually people take way more breaks on raids this long, but Hank's just a beast in every way. The guy sat down opposite the girls. Finally, they can kick back. The guy knew he probably needed to rest too. Thanatos narcolepsy skill activated. He's forced to fall asleep. The girls had no clue what was going on. Until he's forcibly logged out, his character's stuck in the game. Dude passed out during the raid. Guess this is the penalty for being such an XP hog. Hank climbed out of the pod and he was not happy. The sleepwalking's kicking in. He won't be dead weight for those two. Better to hunt solo. The girls were sitting across from the sleeping player. They hadn't been sitting there for very long. After all those battles, no wonder he crashed. Guess he's just human after all. The girls noticed Hank getting up. No way. It hasn't even been a minute since they sat down. Sleepwalking mode won't shut off till the dungeon's clear. Hank just spun around and took off again. He barely rested for 30 seconds. Eve thought she was seeing things. Both of them didn't hesitate. They bolted after the guy. No telling how far he's gone, plus he's been mowing down monsters and stopped looting. Guess his inventory's full. The girls can grab this stuff for Hank. They can at least do that. There's even some rare gear here. Looks like he was taking out elites. Even if he's maxed out, you gotta pick up the rare drops. First, we gotta catch him. If he gets too far ahead, it'll take forever to catch up. 10 in-game hours have passed. Sessions that long are bad for your health and your head. It's been 25 hours since we entered the dungeon. Ava wanted a break, so did her sister Rena, but Ava's still leveling up. So Hank's still hunting. Gotta power up faster, but this is pushing it for even her. Ava spotted something and pointed it out to her sister. The girls saw the boss room and Hank was standing in front of the door. They got here in a day? No way, it usually takes like 2 or 3 actual days. They're setting a seriously insane record. But something about this whole thing felt off. The girls were a little late, so they apologized to Hank for making him wait. The guy was just standing there leaning against the door, not moving. He's definitely pissed. At least the girls grabbed his stuff. They'll give it back to him later. They're about to head into the boss room. You can't leave until you beat him. A message popped up about entering the boss room, and the girls just froze. They told Hank to chill for a second, but he already threw the door open. The soulless werewolf Serbil is awake. It's been so long since anyone strong enough came down here. Serbil's gotten way stronger. Killing him gets them rare loot and double the XP. Rin's like, who cares about XP if we're dead? It's game over, man. They realized Hank's planning to solo the boss. No idea why he even opened the door. Eva must have really pissed him off. First, narcolepsy kicked in during the boss fight. Now it's happening in a group raid. Next thing you know, Hank's gonna be out cold and he's probably gonna miss seeing those girls again. Guess there's nothing else to do. He's got to find a good solo hunting spot. He's already level 48. Time to look for monsters around level 90. Just then, Hank got a call from Chuck. Heaven sounded totally wiped, probably because he hasn't slept yet. Hank realized it had been 2 days. He's wondering what the hell's going on. It can't be that urgent. Gotta take breaks every now and then, right? Chuck wants to too. Then he remembered the moment Sons took down that boss. Hank only remembers fighting the mini-boss, the sorcerer, but he doesn't count as a real boss. Chuck's talking about that berserk Karak dude, but Sons doesn't remember any video of that. The dude didn't even flinch, just sent over the video of him offing Karak while he was asleep. He could have just claimed he didn't remember icing the guy. Heaven explained he wants to build on that concept. The fighting style's way different there. Hank didn't get it. Chuck figured he was losing it. Skill level's the same, but the moves look way more calculated and precise. Usually he just charges in head first, forcing his opponents to expose their weak spots. But against Karak, he was methodical and chill, like he was just wearing down the enemy. Hank was constantly hammering the boss with a hail of blows, never giving him a breather. Chuck compared the fight to a knight's style. Hank didn't think he could fight like that. Heaven hoped he didn't have some kind of mental break, but he's not a psycho. Look, he was playing totally different. And on top of that, he doesn't even remember any of it. But that's not the point. In the boss fight, an AI fought instead of him because of one skill, and this thing's also causing a ton of problems. Chuck was stoked. He thought his buddy was sick, but he's actually fine. Hank asked his friend to email him that clip, and he said okay. Heaven's got an idea. If Hank's playing the character, the mask is black. But when it's the AI, it's white. It's like Jekyll and Hyde. Sons didn't want to be Hyde. Jekyll was the good guy. We should totally come up with a nickname for him that fits the persona. The dude got the video clip. He felt weird watching himself in it. Hank saw the intro to the video. He couldn't believe it was really him. He didn't get why the mask was white because he set it to black. This has got to be Chuck's doing. He kept yapping about some concept. Just like he said, the style's totally different. Hank could learn a thing or two from AI. He picked up a lot during today's hunt too. But this video's got way more useful info. He's digging this more and more. The monster was screaming that people took the risk of coming in here themselves, but their courage is commendable. They're feisty little humans to him. They shouldn't think that he lost his old power along with his soul. The monster's way too fast. It's too dangerous here. The girls couldn't believe they were about to die here. Hank blocked the monster's attack. He tossed the guy aside like trash. The girls were left facing the boss. Hank slammed into the far wall, kicking up a cloud of dust. Eve and Rena can't let their guard down. Yellow crystal bullets started flying past them, and they were caught off guard. That's a weak attack for this monster. The guy's mocking him. He's going to get torn to shreds. Sons lunged at the boss again, laying into him. The monster was pissed, slashing back with razor-sharp claws. Hank pushed off the boss's shoulder to change the attack's trajectory and jump back. That's one hell of a retreat. The boss is growling. The guy landed a devastating blow. That's got to be critical damage. After that bone-crushing hit, that soulless werewolf Cerbis is going to be stunned for 10 seconds flat. Hank went in for the attack with his sword, triggering the Tananos Nightmare skill. Cerbis is vulnerable to the nightmare, overwhelmed by hallucinations and pain for 5 seconds. The monster was beyond pissed. Not even 1,000 deaths of this guy could satisfy his rage now. The werewolf lunged at Hank, and the guy used his skill. Black lightning, huh? But no one else can use that at this time. He used that distracting attack right before that dark flash, too. The monster's thinking, a guy this strong wouldn't throw such a weak punch for no reason. But the terrifying black lightning didn't show. If he can land a hit on the boss, it'll reappear. Gotta focus on defense. The monster's faster, but that lightning's got him playing it safe. Is this guy really not gonna use that thing? Even after all those hits? Hank just popped his skill, purple orbs everywhere. That's a savage hit, straight up critical damage. Soulless werewolf Cerbis is stunned for 10 seconds. The werewolf knows he's screwed, but he ain't going down without a fight. He throws his snout in the air and howls again. The girls are freaked, but Hank's ready. Soulless werewolf Cerbis is enraged. He's getting stronger. All right, phase 2 of the boss fight is kicking off. And check it out, the monster's already changed a little. It's going after the player, who's dodging like crazy. Okay, the boss is way bigger and stronger now, but it's definitely slowed down, which works out great for Hank. A girl wouldn't be fast enough to dodge all that. Sones is laying into the boss with his sword. His moves and attacks are seriously insane. Just before Cerbis swings, Hank doesn't dodge. He charges straight ahead. Then he uses his shoulder to launch himself back, using its size to get some distance. Their fight is turning into one hell of a spectacle. He threw out a feint, but no black lightning this time. Guess he couldn't use it from that distance. Rena's right, it's bait. He never planned on using that skill in the first place. Dude's got a strategy. First black bullets playing on Cerbis's emotions. Which means that black lightning thing is seriously OP if it made the boss run scared. Unbelievable, just like you'd expect from Hank, but now he's thinking ahead. The way he fights is different. He's got two totally different styles he can switch between. Rena wouldn't want to face either one of those styles. We gotta get him in the guild. The boss thought he was faster than a human. He was waiting for him to make a move. The guy used Death Sabbath skill with the first level activated. The Death Coven spell locked down Cerbis, that soulless werewolf, in a death illusion. The monster's paralyzed. That cost us 100 DP right there. Damage against a sleeping enemy is doubled. Hank unleashed the Reaper's chains on him. Cerbis is under attack. He's surrounded by purple energy. This is it for him. The soulless werewolf is toast. A message popped up saying the player's been grinding in the dungeon a lot. As a reward, he got experience points and the best loot from the boss's treasure hoard. The girls were just blown away. Jaws dropped. The dude hit level 50 and triggered an exclusive quest. Then Hank just dropped his sword and crashed out. The girls leaned over him, totally confused what was going on. Guess he was so beat he just passed out cold. They were just running around after him and were super tired too. But he soloed the boss. The sisters should keep an eye on his stuff. They probably should carry Hank back to the room, but that felt like too much. Hank kept sleeping, even started snoring. Back at Inferno HQ in the user management department, Minton was curious what level user Hank was at now. He's level 53, Joe said, clicking the button. Minton called someone and reported that Sons has already hit level 50. They're not done prepping yet, but looks like they don't have a choice. The Empire's been quiet so far, but they might send out a scout team soon. The Ironblood Monarch can't sit still, and Hank's already started his class quest. He's under the narcolepsy effect right now. He'll sleep for another 7 real-time hours. That's 35 hours inside the game. That's a problem. When the user Sons unlocked his class quest, a huge castle rose up in Venia. Venia is a city surrounded by water. It's got a great view and the highest concentration of players. The Ironblood Monarch has to make the local lord gather a scouting party and send him to the castle. Hank's got to get there first. If the scouts get there first, they're going to have problems. If anything unexpected happens, Minton needs to contact the higher-ups as soon as possible. Because of his narcolepsy, user Sons isn't waking up anytime soon. Monarch Haram is totally unpredictable. He's sentenced tons of players to a century locked in the dungeon. Hank needs to haul ass and ideally reach the castle before those scouts do. If something goes sideways, something terrible is going to happen. Dorgnome, we shouldn't have any problems dealing with a guy like him. If the scouting party's made up of users, Hank should be able to outrun them, no problem. Also, if the Monarch gets personally involved, it's not just Hank who'll be screwed. It'll wake up the monster in the castle. That monster's a Quilior, a wyvern serpent. A student of Tananos locked her up and now she's the deadliest monster around. It'd be awesome if the Monarch took care of the wyvern himself, but he might not be able to. The Empire is going to be plunged into chaos by a monster no player can handle. They gotta help Hank, or if that wyvern wakes up, we're going to be drowning in complaints. Minton won't let that happen. If Hank's already hit level 50, that woman's getting a quest too. She's tied to Tananos. The quest details are different, but the gist is the same. Head to the palace. Their combined efforts should stop that wyvern from waking up. There's a guy who's the most powerful dude on his entire continent. That guy? The Iron-Blooded Monarch. There's some shady-looking structure that popped up in Eastern Vene. If you screw up even once in front of the Monarch, you're getting way more than just your head chopped off. Among the Monarch's vassals is this spineless dude, and the Monarch had no idea how this guy even saw the problem. The guy didn't get it, so the Monarch repeated the question. The servant apologized, saying he'd get the mayor of Venia on it immediately. The guy thanked his majesty for sparing his life. Then, the servant bolted out of the hall. All his subjects are scared shitless of him, but he's never been cruel to the citizens of the Empire. He was taught that an emperor should always be a reasonable and worthy ruler. He showed no mercy to enemies and no pity for prisoners, which is why he won every war. But his own people are trembling with fear. Even his personal guards are terrified of him. This palace is full of people who fear him and others who are too simple-minded to even be scared. Gotta find someone to entertain him, tons of brutes around, but none of them are funny. The Monarch would have bounced out of the palace ages ago if he could, but that'd cause a massive uproar. The entire Empire would be out looking for him, and he definitely doesn't want that. Still, wouldn't mind sneaking out for a walk every now and then. He'd be bored out of his skull walking around the monster zone with just level 100 scrubs. An idea popped into the Monarch's head. He needs to throw a nationwide event, something where anyone can jump in, whether they're a traveler or a craftsman. Like a fighting tournament, that'd at least be a laugh. The Monarch can't exactly compete, but watching might be a kick too. The guy who wins gets to serve him and snag one thing from the treasury. Travelers are all greedy. Well, almost all, but exceptions are super rare. Land? That's way too generous. Anything from the treasury is fine. Also, the winner gets a wish. He picks his own reward, and the monarch will give him something unique, not just the usual prize. This is gonna be good. Let's hope someone interesting wins. The Empire's fighters facing off in North Korea. This is huge. It's bringing together everyone looking to make a name for themselves. The showdown's about to begin. Hank was watching a video. The analysis of his fight with Karak was done. The dude noticed that only his fighting style had changed. Sucks that narcolepsy comes with all this baggage. A freaking ad popped up. Kendo lessons? Looks like Idea's pushing sword fighting courses now. All these gyms and judo schools are suddenly spamming ads on every site. Guess your real-world fitness affects what your avatar can do in Idea. He signed up for the gym. Now gotta find a kendo school. Hank started checking out the Academy of Practical Martial Arts. Place is right across from the gym. Sons can hit practice right after. He walked up to the door. This is the spot. Hank rang the bell. Didn't know who was inside. Nobody answered for a while. Then some dude peeked out, asking who was there. This guy's got muscles you can't build at the gym. That's a fighter's body, forged through hardcore training. The outside's kind of beat up, but Hank picked a good spot. He's here to learn to fight, got good instincts, and apologized for dropping in unannounced. Inside there's everything from blunt weapons to aluminum swords. The ceilings are high, so you can swing a spear or a sword without hitting anything. Hank finished looking around and he's digging it. The guy told him to take his clothes off and the kid was like, "Huh?" He wasn't here to watch. They're starting with a little sparring match. Sounds fun. Hank can grab whatever he wants or just throw down with his fists. One of those swords looks like the one in Idea. First, Sons is gonna warm up a bit. He prefers swords. The dude did kendo as a kid. His moves are super precise. The guy's got talent. You can tell he's used to putting in the work. Hank's ready, and here they go. Sons is getting ready to attack. The dude's got his spear up, and the kid's got to try to block. Hank took the hit. If he was a newbie, the teacher's force would have knocked the sword right out of his hand. And what's more, he didn't back down after the attack. He's keeping the pressure on. That's the right move. Okay. So sword fights against spearmen are a whole different ballgame. The kid kept dodging the spear and going right after the guy holding it. Then bam, he leveled his sword and could have run him through. They froze there for a second. Their little breaks dragging on. Hank wasn't moving that much, but he's already beat. His first strikes are clean, and they're just as good mid-fight. Finally, a student worth a damn. Let's wrap it up for now. His swordsmanship's flawless. The master's curious what the kid picked up in the idea. Hank wanted to learn to use a weapon in his left hand, too. He won't regret it. The teacher asked about Sansa's fighting style. "This dude's got the style of a rabid dog," the teacher laughed. He figured the guy was trying to jump his opponents. The master's curious how Hank handles a dagger. He picked one. This one's good. He grabbed the sword and dagger and got ready. Hank needs to watch closely. His main attack is with the long sword, and when he opens up, he defends his weak spot with the dagger. It was actually pretty useful. Learning how to throw a sword. The master showed a combo with the long sword and dagger. The dagger's way lighter. The guy should be able to handle it well while he attacks with the sword. It all depends on the fighter's skills. Hank shouldn't have any trouble. Sans just confessed he wants to start training right now. The Midnight Wolves pack. The Wolf King himself. Rin's fighting him. Girl's going at him with her sword. This monster's freaking strong, but she ain't backing down. She finally takes him down and he starts to fade away. Things didn't go how she thought. She got a little too cocky. Rin didn't know if she'd ever see Hank again. Be cool to recruit him to the guild, but first gotta sort out this loot. She just scored a ton of gold and gear. Eva suggested kicking back for a bit, hoping Sans wakes up soon. The girl sat down beside him, wondering how long the dude would be out cold. Eva jumped up. She was losing her patience real fast. She started shaking him like crazy, yelling at him to wake up already. Then she stopped, but the guy was still totally zonked out. Suddenly a message popped up saying the player had been asleep for way too long. When he logs back into the game, he'll be teleported to the nearest village. A second later, he vanished, and the girls were pretty confused about what just happened. They'd look after his stuff, and Rena wanted to track down Hank. She decided to search for his videos on MetYube, hoping that would help her find him. But if she wants to recruit him to the guild, she needs to get stronger herself, 'cause she's the leader. Her sisters were chasing after her. They wanted to hang with her. The girl apologized, but she couldn't wait up for them. Rin promised them they'd catch up and talk when they got there. Hannah asked Sunny what was up with Rin's sister, but she had no clue. Hank's whole body ached. He felt totally wrecked. So he decided to surf the net a bit before training. Soon the guy found something. He'd been checking it out yesterday looking for monsters. Nice city, but way too many tourists, which means it's already been picked clean. Hank remembered the city for more than just its pretty scenery. He saw that there was a villains guild operating in Vienna. Dude was just glad it wasn't his problem. He went to get some training in while he still had the chance. All those hours of beating up the coach for training are paying off. His moves are getting smoother. Thanks to the drills, the guy was picking up new skills quick. Hank was itching to try them out in a real fight. He found himself back in the main square of Reha village. Just like he figured, his inbox blew up with messages. This place was a madhouse. Even more people were begging for stuff. Some guy was offering to buy up all the junk. Might be better than selling it at the store. Hank decided to check it out. He wouldn't mind unloading some gear. This guy's picking up everything, willing to pay double what it costs in the store. They said their goodbyes, and Hank promised he'd be back to see this dude again. Gotta hit the store for that scroll, but first, let's check my messages. He just saw he got an exclusive quest, which totally caught him off guard. The dude knew it could happen, but didn't think it'd go down this fast. The quest window popped up, and even the window itself was different than usual. The guy started reading, and this is just straight up insane. He also started wondering what had happened if the recon squad found the trail first. Then Hank would drop back to level 1, and that's what he's dreading. He doesn't get the point of that. Then all that grinding would be for nothing. Then it hit him. What if he actually pulls this off? He'd get to pick powers from divine authority and a god-tier relic. The names on this list are wild. This has got to be some serious stuff. Hank decided, screw it, time to head to Venia, ASAP. He landed in the central square, and compared to Reha, this place is a freaking beehive. The scout team hasn't gone to the castle yet. He needs to move now. He ran into a crowd and they sized him up as some bum. These guys look loaded. No wonder people are giving Hank the stink eye. Sansu could definitely use some armor right about now. He's gonna have to fight multiple players at the same time. Hank just unlocked the shop. Then he got himself some new gear. He splurged a little, but the dude earns through the game, so investments are crucial. With the gear all set, now it's time to haul ass to the castle. It's way out there, and Hank doesn't have a horse, so the trip's gonna take even longer. Still, he's got a speed advantage over the scouting party since he's rolling solo. He's curious to see just how powerful the Divine Relic's abilities are. At Mayor Dorgnum's residence, the mayor's wondering how the scouting party's doing. Mayor Vinay was also a big-time merchant, so business is booming. Raynor, the head of the Superhuman Guild, was giving his report. You can tell right away he's got a sharp eye for who to buddy up with. Raynor's bummed their first plan fell through because of those juiced-up players. It was a solid plan. The mayor entrusted him with the Emperor's orders. He needs to wrap up squad assembly ASAP. Soon, everything will be set for the castle raid. They're hitting the road today. Dorgnum is handing this over to Raynor. He gave him the badge. Raynor gave his thanks. It's the Knight Squad Commander's insignia. With this thing, he'll teach those high-level players who were shaking him down a lesson. Dorgnum is really counting on him. He can't let the Emperor down. Raynor's dependable. If he pulls this off, he'll make a name for himself. But if he screws up, they'll probably throw him under a train or something. He doesn't have to put up with the humiliation for much longer. Then he'll get his noble title. It's a 10-day ride to the castle. Raynor needs to leave today. Meanwhile, a crowd gathered in Venea's East Square. Applications were being submitted to join the scouting squad. Edal, the superhuman guild manager, was accepting applications. He handed out assignments and thought everyone was a bunch of dumbasses. Hiring players is cheaper, but crowds really piss him off. He didn't get why he had to be stuck here. He could be out hunting. Edal couldn't figure out who they were trying to outdo. This smoking hot chick with black hair and a long black coat walks up. Thing is, you can't change more than 10% of your real appearance. Edal asked her to tell him her class, level, and name. She's Savannah Hart, a sorceress, level 1 to 10. Edal's gonna make sure she gets hooked up with a good spot in the squad. The girl could barely stand him. She needs to get to the castle ASAP. Don't waste your energy on a loser like that sign-up guy. Edal was thinking about putting this babe close to him. Then he looks up and sees this dude standing in front of him. The dude was masked up. It's his whole thing, and he's level 53. No idea why he's being so cocky. Normally he'd waste that punk. Still, he handed him the form. Just fill it out and scram. The kid just left without even saying thanks. Edal's gonna come for him once they head to the castle. If Hank hadn't gotten lost, we wouldn't have to rely on the recon squad. If he knew how it would turn out, he'd have signed up right away. He's only got himself to blame. Back at HQ, they kept their eyes glued to that player. Minton was just pissed. Things weren't going his way. They were so damn close to each other. But they still missed each other. If those two were working together, things would be way easier. He knows damn well she's got the same class. He's got Reaper's chains, remember? An agent can't just stand around. We can't just let her walk. Why is he offering her a partnership? They're from the same class. Makes no sense. meeting another Thanatos minion without knowing if they're friend or foe. No wonder Hank's being cautious. Savannah didn't spot him, and Hank's window didn't show anything either. That's what probably set him off. Minton gets it. Plain and simple. They're on different assignments. Hank's gotta find clues. Hart's gotta stop the snake from being resurrected. Joe's got a feeling that everything that possibly could go wrong is going wrong. All he could do now was pray that things work out. The recruitment for the recon squad outside Vinea's East Gate is officially closed. Hank couldn't figure out why only about 100 people showed up. He was sure the superpowered guild was up to something. All he had to do was follow the crowd to the castle, then ditch the group. He didn't get why the guy recruiting people was giving him such a weird look. Maybe he was pissed about how Hank talked back. Guess he really rubbed him the wrong way. Sons didn't break eye contact and just kept staring right back at Edel. It'll be dark soon. The group will stop. And that's when the manager will talk to him. Edel read the messages and realized Raynor was about to screw over an entire guild. If things go south, he'll blame it all on Edel, and Savannah's nowhere to be seen either. The manager was itching to deal with Hank. He's still giving him the stink eye, like he's gonna jump him in his sleep. A surprise attack might have worked, but Sun saw right through his plan. They stopped for a breather, and they're gonna be stuck here for a solid 3 hours. Makes sense to log off and come back closer to the end of the break. They got a fire going. Hank plopped down to rest, and then he got a text. Guess we don't have to worry about uncontrollable narcolepsy anymore. Edel's about to make his move. First, we gotta lure him into the woods. He was stoked. The victim's practically walking right into his death. This low level actually thought it was a good idea to mouth off to a rare class player. Edel was gonna ice him, and he was planning to creep up behind him. Hank heard a chain rattling somewhere and turned to face him. Can't figure out why he looked so freaked out. Got a bad feeling about this. He doesn't have a chain after all. But then they dig into Edel's body. He realized in horror that those are the Reaper's chains. Hank confirmed they were the Reaper's chains, but said they're different. Pure damage is tearing through Edel, ignoring all shields and applying an effect on top of it. Sons asked in surprise, "What the hell just happened?" Edel's dead and logged out of the game. Won't be back for a full day. Real time. Savannah followed them just in case. She didn't think he'd actually go for the kill. She wonders if Hank is all right. He's just staring at that girl. The dude was totally lost, trying to figure out what was going on. Savannah was staring him down, face white as a sheet. She can use Reaper chains. She's got a Thanatos-related class, too. This one's at least legendary rank. The guy confirmed he was good to go. Time to bounce. He might not be the only one like him, so he said his goodbyes. Safer to keep his distance from a potential rival like that. 2 new abilities are up for grabs. Hank's gotta watch his back. The girl felt like she'd just lost to him, plain and simple. Back at Inferno HQ, they were still keeping a close watch. It's weird Hank doesn't want to team up with her, especially since she's tied to his class. Minton got where Sons was coming from, though. Besides, they were given totally different objectives. He's supposed to find a lead. She's got to stop the Wyvern from resurrecting. Joe's got a bad feeling, like all their plans are about to completely fall apart.